learned how to change gears on the pit bike. Now it's time for 65.
We're on our way to the LDR, Lee Dunham Racing Kawasaki training day, armed with lots of green monster, green t-shirt, green bike. What are you riding today? Your Kawasaki 65. Are you ready to change some gears?
Yeah.
This is day 2, changing gears. How do you feel about it? We bought Harley this Kawasaki 65 ready for his 6th birthday, but he found it early and he really wanted it. So we did everything we could to help him be able to ride this bike as a 5-year-old. And then we took him to LDR for a coaching day.
I'm Adam, the Motocross fitness coach. I've been here at LDR today teaching the kids just about fitness.
And again, let's go. Sumo! And again.
And nutrition. I'm going to bring you up one by one. I need to get Harley on a step or bring in the chair. You're going to put your hand in and you're going to try and guess what food you're touching. Gone through some basics around the food group, so fruits, vegetables. Okay, what do you think that is? You got it? Got it? Brilliant, well done. Oh, keep it in there. It's a vegetable, well done. Good. We're going to see if anyone knows that about one. How we can then use these different energy and fuel sources ride him. Me and Harry are going to be in competition. If I touch his knee, that is a point to me. 1 point. Touch my knee. Joking. Look, 2 points to me. You two are together. You two are together. You got to touch their knee and don't let your knee be touched. Go. Activate the muscles. And back. Mobilise the muscles and then potentiate. That's basically getting ready for the specific sport, which is obviously motocross today. We've warmed up the body. I need to now sort of warm up the mind a little bit. We did some reaction drills. You throw it higher. We're going to let go.
We've got some goodie bags here, courtesy of Kawasaki. We're going to start with youngest to oldest. We've got Harley. There you go.
The goodie bag is so exciting. I love the torch, and Dad loves the hat.
Now it's time to get into his kit. And being 5 years old, this process needs some help from me, his mum, and it can take some time.
Five minutes it took to get ready.
Harley's first few laps were a little bit steady, but he was getting used to the bike and the track.
So what we're going to do is just run right from the ground up. We're going to get these basics in. So what is really important outdoors is for you guys really to listen so we get all of this right. And what we're going to do, because you've already told me that the track's really bumpy, is for us to get a good, solid basing, good, solid standing, and that comes right from the ground up. So we're going to talk about our footwork. Just think about our control whilst we're standing up and where the support comes from. So when we put our feet on our foot pegs, we've only got a small area that we can put our feet. So it's really important that our feet go in the right position. Put our heels on the floor and lift our toes up. Bring our knees forward a little bit. Right, just stay there for me. Right. It's pretty easy for me to push everyone over. So what we're going to do, think about it. How are we going to get this control? What are we going to have to do with our foot pegs and our feet on our foot pegs to get the control right? George?
Keep our feet close to the bike.
Keep our feet close to the bike. So let's put our feet shoulders width apart and make sure our feet are facing forward. So I don't want to see any duck feet. Don't want to see any of this. I want our feet facing forward. So Harley, you've got duck feet at the moment. So feet facing forward. That's it. Just look at my foot here. We're going to imagine this is my toe here, and then behind my toe, right, that's where I want the foot to be on the foot peg. Feel through your feet and push that part through to the floor. Then what we're going to do is push our bums back. Bring our head and our hands forward and our elbows nice and high. So I'm going to push your elbows there. I'm just going to bring you forward like this. Good. Push your thumb back, Harley, for me. Good. And elbows up. That's it. Good. Just stay there for me. Strong there. You're super glued to the floor, aren't you? So the control there, even without the bikes, was so much better. And I actually could feel, you probably could feel as well, the strength you had just from that position. So it's not just where your foot is on the foot peg, but how close it is to the side of the bike makes a difference as well. Okay, because then you've got the control from your toe to your heel and then heel to just below your knee. All of that leg there is connected. And as soon as you've got that connection to the bike, you've got the control then. So if I ask Josh now to stand up nice and straight, put your hands on your head, and you can use your legs then to grip the bike and move. So all of this control is coming just simply from your feet there. So now what we're gonna do is push your bum back, bring your head forward, and then elbows nice and high. But what we've got to try not to do is have your wrists too dropped like this. Teaching the younger generation that our wrist is in the right place. I always try and like to advise that your knuckles lead a straight line all the way to the elbow. Simply for when we end up jumping, I don't want those wrists to drop down here, and then also it can lead to an injury on the wrist. So making sure that we're in a good, strong position. Slowly.
Is he sitting down too much?
A little bit. How was that, Harley?
I'm going to put your hump further down.
What are you going to work on next time? More standing up, yeah? And using your front brake, which you never normally use.
I did it.
Yeah, I know, right? First time. High five.
What we're going to try and stop happening is you coming into this corner. Remember, we're going to open the track up, we're going to open the corner up. So right-handed bend, so we're going to approach it from the left-hand side. We want to try and stop the bike from rolling forward like this from a weak position. So how are we going to get a strong position? What do you think we've got to do? Yeah. We're going to push our bum a little further back. So instead of being in this position, we're going to push our bum back. Good. So we're going to brake whilst we're here. So that means our legs, our control has got to be nice and strong. We've got to make sure we're holding onto the bike with our legs, but also this position here, our arms. Making sure that our bum is pushed back, our head comes away from the handlebars just ever so slightly, so that if we ended up using these braking bumps, we've got all of this control here that we can move. If we end up sliding into the front of the bike like this and then hit the bumps, we've got nowhere to go, so we end up moving, we end up losing control over the front of the bike. The last 10 metres, 6 metres into each corner is the important part, that's the setup. I always teach corners in three different sections. So we've got the entrance, the middle, and then the exit. The entrance to every single corner is so important. It's what then leads to the section 2 and section 3. And it makes life so much easier if we can get this right. So, opening the track up, good positioning and good braking that we've already done. And then everyone now is going to start using this rut that we've got in the corner. So what I'd like everyone to do, just roll forward. I'm going to show you all. So let's roll forward. It's so easy not to like ruts, isn't it? So that's why I was talking. Section 1, the setup has got to be bang on the money. It's got to be really, really good control with your braking. We've got a couple of braking bumps there. We're just going to sit down for the corner until after. Perfect. So the last braking bump. The couple here, so it's about here, isn't it? Yeah? So all of this is standing on the brakes. We get to this point, then we're going to sit down. only got little wheels. So when we sit down, this is also super important. Our body weight forward. For the corners, I always like to have our head over the top of the handlebar. Sometimes a little bit further, but definitely head forward. And last but not least, we're in a rut here. We're only on small little bikes. So from a safety point of view, the inside leg is really important for me. Okay? I don't want any daisy cutting with your toes. And what I mean by daisy cutting, right, is having your foot so that your toe is facing forward like this. That's what I'd call a daisy cutter. What I'd like is toes to the sky, so I'd like your toes up or your heel away from the floor, whichever you want to call it. I don't necessarily need a dead straight leg. I also think that's not necessarily the right thing to do. I just want your leg away from the floor so we're not touching the floor around the turn. And because you're in a rut there, your foot is a lot closer to the floor than you think. So it's really important here that we have our leg nice and up. Because if that foot touches the floor, it's easy to twist and damage your knee. When do we go down our gears, Dex? Before we brake. When do we sit down for a turn, George? After the last braking bump. Harley, I want you to tell me something that's going to help you round this turn.
Putting your foot up, but bending.
There you are. Bang on the money. So if we're in a rut, we're on a small bike, that foot needs to stay away from the floor.
I learned so much with Lee Dunham. I'm going to race my 65.